What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday to you. We are almost at the end of the week. Yay! I hope you had a good week. I've actually been very productive this week. Actually this month. I've been going hard to meet new people, grow my business, and I really want 2024 to be my year. 2023 was a crappy year. I had to regroup my business because LinkedIn, which is where primarily I met new people to prospect for my business, they restricted my account, which was ridiculous. That really hurt my business. I am not even going to hold anybody up. That hurt my business. I had to pivot. And if you are a business owner or you're trying to build your business, social networking is so important. Business networking is so important. Having a online presence is so important. Getting your information, your profile at the top of the Google algorithm is so important. And what you do on a daily basis matters. So I find myself throughout the day, I am multitasking my ass off between my clients and prospects and setting my marketing up so that I can get more prospects and so I can have a more passive strategy of getting people. You want to get to a point in your online strategy where you're not working as hard for it and it's really kind of working for itself because you've built up the proper intellectual and branding content to make people have that constant buy-in. I was able to do that on LinkedIn. I started off in 2020. I had about 3,500 people in my LinkedIn network. I only use LinkedIn for business. And then around that time, they, pivoted to this racist DEI stuff. They, flooded their platform with content creators that were very divisive in their rhetoric as they attempted to execute DEI objectives poorly. And I've been saying this since 2020 that DEI was going to be a poor execution that really hurt society and just overall companies. And I was right. But they are censoring people like me because they don't want people to be thinking common sense. They don't even want you to believe that there exists intelligent Black people that can actually communicate like I do. And that's only to say that was a obstacle that I had to move around. And I could have been the one to say, oh my God, 33,000 people, I'm just going to give up. It's like within like a week of dealing with all that, I'm like, I'm pivoting, I'm doing something else. And I rocked it out. And it was funny because when I searched my name on Google, my LinkedIn page used to be the first thing that popped up, right? And that's exactly what you want. If you're working a platform the right way, and I do believe there's some supremacy in there. I don't think it was just because I changed my pronouns to common sense. I believe that just a presence like mine on LinkedIn was a threat to a lot of the narratives that they want to perpetuate about Black people and Black women in general, because they need Black women addicted to struggle and insecurity, right? That's what they really want us to be. They want us struggling and addicted to insecurity. And if we don't want to do all that, they're going to create it for us. So that's LinkedIn for me. But I pivoted to Alignable, and I've met some incredibly awesome people on Alignable. So if you are using Alignable, I would love to connect with you. Look me up and connect with me. Off that, we live in a very interesting world. Like I said, this is a satanic world. And I think that from the behaviors of the people to the way that you see the degrading of the societies globally, nothing about what's happening is what anybody would consider godly, right? It's not godly to screw over other people. It's not godly to be self-centered. It's not godly to imperialize other nations. And yet this is happening. The United States is a part of that imperialization. And there's so many moving parts to this satanic world. But there's a lot of obvious things that you can there's so many obvious patterns where you can be like, there's Satanism in almost anything, right? Now, before I go in with this inquiry, I just want to say that no, I do not believe that all people who were born with natural blonde hair are Satanists, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm actually talking about the satanic ritual or symbolism of the blonde hair. And a lot of times when you want to go to repetitive symbols that Satanists are using, you go to the music industry, you go to the entertainment space. And what I noticed just in the last 4 weeks, right? And somebody did a video on this a couple of years ago, and I noticed it too, but I didn't really think about it. It really just didn't sit with me about how all these male rappers, black male rappers, were blowing up, and as soon as they blow up, they're dyeing their hair blonde. They're dyeing their hair blonde. Kanye did it. Dirk did it. All of these male rappers, they're doing it. And now in the last 4 weeks, I've seen all of the female rappers do the same thing. They do the blonde hair. Megan Thee Stallion, Doja Cat, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, they've all broken out this blonde hair. And I tried to do some research on Google just to kind of understand, like, what would be the symbolism of dyeing your hair blonde, right? And, from a Scandinavian perspective, their goddesses were blonde hair, blue eye. They were a symbol of beauty and youth, right? And reoccurringly, blonde hair is supposed to be the symbol of beauty and youth, right? Even though there are many individuals with blonde hair that really don't maintain long-term youth. So it's very interesting, right? But off of that, blonde also has a feminine undertone to it as well, or symbolism to it too. And I can only conclude that they're kind of moving these female rappers into the blonde hair symbolism, right, to make them appear to look more pure or to symbolize more purity, right? So you see, it's almost like satanic repentance, right? When you purify, whatever, it is in the Satanist world with dyeing your hair blonde in ritual. And every single female rapper has done this, right? Now, this is just not something that I see that they're doing. There's opportunities that come along with blonde, dyeing your hair all blonde, and most of the times you see these artists who dye their hair blonde, they get level ups, they get deals, right? It's so ritualistic, right? And there's other forms of rituals that I believe that they have to participate in just to maintain their relevance, right? Nicki Minaj has new management right now to help her with the Pink Friday 2 rollout. And what was really interesting, I didn't think about Nicki breaking out the blonde because she's always worn different color wigs around this Pink Friday time. I didn't think about it too much, right? But then when I saw Megan Thee Stallion, within weeks, and Cardi B within days, and Doja Cat was already doing it, during the Scarlet thing, she went bald head to blonde, right? This is kind of, if you know anything about some of these Hollywood rituals, I would love to know what is the symbolism behind this dyeing the hair blonde. Because it's not just the rappers. You see entertainment space people dyeing their hair blonde. what is that a symbolism of? Like, what is that? Because we know that in the Hollywood entertainment space, these people are highly occultist. And one thing I actually learned just by some side research that I was doing is that Satanists are not the same as devil worshippers. Satanists are more atheist people. They don't believe in any type of supernatural deity or anything. They believe ideologically, they just cleave on to the rebellion of stories about deities, and they gravitated to Satan. He was rebellious. He did what he wanted. And their whole promotion is just do what you want to do. There are no gods. There is no nothing. There's no accountability. Only be accountable to yourself. Only have yourself in mind. It's an extension of, they take a lot of their ideological thought from Ayn Rand and her views on individualism and objectivism, but they skew Rand's ideals, in my opinion, because when you think about how Ayn Rand, positioned some of her conversations, she was talking about, she talks about capitalism as a way to lift people up from poverty. But I didn't really get the feeling that she was focused on pure self-centeredness. I felt like she was more talking about the balance between being able to take care of yourself first, being an individual before you are an altruist, because the best altruists are the most actualized individuals. And, in our society today, we got a bunch of weirdos with savior complex, and they're highly altruistic, but they are not developed individuals, and yet they trying to save somebody. Sad. But anyways, I go on to say that, they engage in a lot of rituals. And some of these rituals are like really, sacrificial, but it doesn't seem like they're anything like too off. You don't really hear, I didn't read anything about Satanism where they were promoting pedophilia per se, even though there are many Satanists who are pedophiles, right? Devil worshippers, that's a different beast. I look at Satanists as being just activists, right? Like, we just want anything but God to believe in, right? Devil worshippers are different beasts. They are, and even though Satanists, they practice black magic for the interest of themselves and even destroying their inner enemies or whatnot. Devil worshippers are, they're the real deal, and you don't really see a lot of devil worshippers trying to be famous. That's what the Satanists want. They want to be famous and relevant. And I would say that Satanists, to me, when I read about them, and they're really harmless, lost people. The devil worshippers, on the other hand, I wouldn't put nothing past them. That's some Charles Manson stuff right there. And I think there was a conflation between Satanism and devil worship back then. But Charles Manson was a devil worshiper, and he acted as a devil worshiper, not a Satanist. You don't really find too many Satanists really out there on a mission to kill other people unless it is a targeted kill. They're very vengeful people, but they're very targeted. Devil worshippers, they're indiscriminate, temporally. And I go off on this tangent, though, just to get back to the Hollywood rituals. What do you think blonde hair could possibly mean in these satanic rituals? What could it possibly mean? Why are these people all doing the same thing? And they're getting great deals after they break off this blonde hair. But why do you think they're doing it? let me know. And you guys have a wonderful week. Bye.